Let's draw the Lewis structure for IF2 plus. So let's first count the electrons up. Iodine is in group 7, sometimes called 17. That has 7 valence electrons. Fluorine, same group, so 7 valence electrons, but we have these 2. So we'll multiply that by 2. And very importantly, this positive sign, that means that we've lost an electron. Electrons are negative, so if we lose an electron, we get this positive ion. So we have to subtract 1 electron. So we have 7 plus 14 is 21 minus 1, 20 total valence electrons for the IF2 plus Lewis structure. We'll put the least electronegative atom in the center. That's the iodine. So let's just stick that right there in the center. And then put a fluorine on either side. So now we can distribute the electrons around our Lewis structure. We'll start by putting a pair of electrons between the atoms. And this is going to form the chemical bond. So we have a chemical bond between the iodine and the fluorine. Now we can put valence electrons around the fluorine to complete the octet on the fluorine. At this point, we've used 16 valence electrons, so we've got 4 more, and we can put those right on that central iodine. That'll complete the octet on the iodine atom. And this is the Lewis structure for IF2+. Each atom has 8 valence electrons around it, and then we have a total of 20 for the Lewis structure. We should put brackets around it, though, and then a plus sign here to show that it's an ion. If we want to look at the molecular geometry and whether it's polar or nonpolar, let's take a look at that in 3 dimensions. So remember, we have 2 fluorine atoms and then 2 lone pairs on that central iodine. We add the 2 fluorine atoms. They spread out as far away as they can, but don't forget those lone pairs. They occupy space. They're going to push away. And now we end up with what's called a bent molecular geometry. And the bond angles will be about 109.5 degrees. Although with these 2 fluorine atoms here, these electrons here pushing down, I expect it would probably be a good bit less than that. If we were interested in the electron geometry, we'd have to take into account these 2 lone pairs. That would be considered tetrahedral. In terms of polarity, it's an ion, so it has a charge, so we can think about it having an ionic charge of 1 minus. But if you're looking at the electron density, these fluorines are very electronegative, and then we have this iodine here, much less electronegative. So we would have more negative charge on the fluorines here, so this would be a more electronegative part of the atom. This is Dr. B with the Lewis structure, molecular geometry for IF2+. Thanks for watching.